Hello, and welcome back to On Location Vernon, brought to you by Tell a Story Hive. I'm your host, Riley DeBory, and I'm here today with my very special guest, Destanne Norris. Did I say that right?
You did.
Nice.
Yeah, you got it right.
Nice. We're actually here in your studio in Vernon.
We are.
How long have you had this place for?
I have been here. No, it's coming up 4 years in June. It'll be 4 years. Yes, hard to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many paintings are in here?
Oh, I haven't counted. But I've got a new collection that's on the wall that will be going to Jasper National Park, and on Saturday or Sunday. So I'm taking paintings up. I've actually got a studio to use for 2 weeks in Jasper, and I've got 2 4-foot by 5-foot canvases waiting for me. So yeah, I'm going to take these paintings just to kind of have around me, as well as work on these 2 new ones. Yeah.
So do you like to create around like your own paintings, like just to see, or
Well,
is
just
it?
because some of them are drying as well, it is nice to have that reference of
Yeah.
what I'm currently working on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And it wasn't like, because it said you spent a lot of time in Jasper.
Yes.
Is that when you first felt drawn to paint and draw, or was that way earlier on?
No, I had finished my undergraduate degree in 1987, and then thought, I'd like to get to Jasper, and ended up meeting a man who was from Jasper, and that was in Lake Louise, and ended up going there within a short time after my undergraduate degree, and then got married and had children. Didn't really have time to paint, but when I got back to painting more seriously in 1997, then it was nature that I went to as a source for healing, but also for connection. Yeah.
And do you think that's because you lived in Jasper? Because
Yeah, but I'm also a natural nature
Yeah.
lover, and environment, and doing outdoor hiking and
yeah,
canoeing and kayaking and bike riding and skiing, and yes,
all
yeah,
the things.
yeah, all those things.
All the
being
things.
being there,
Yeah,
being
yeah.
there, being present.
Because you did your degree in Victoria, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Because that's like the island is beautiful.
No, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there's the water, right? So the water was equally compelling, but being in the mountains and then living there for the time that I did, and then when it was time to get back to paint, it was like, wow, the grandeur of these huge, rock and stone and ice
Yeah.
and water.
Oh, yeah.
So
And what did your paintings mean to you when you first started painting? Like, was it just to draw, or was it something deeper than
no,
that?
it was just just as I'd mentioned previously, it was connecting to source for me. Like when you go in, for me to go into nature, it's a spiritual connection with the energy that creates, as I call it.
Okay.
So if we're co-creators, nature is a big part of everything, and ourselves, we're part of nature. So I think it was really a means to be present, be in the moment, be in the now, and just absorb, but also through my own perspective of seeing too.
Yes.
But at the time, I grew my practice and had galleries that were selling my work, did artist in residence programs, and then 5 years later, from 97 to 2002, it was like, well, if this thing's rolling, the ball's rolling, I've got these galleries and, gaining in my career. And then it was like, but it didn't feel like enough. All of a sudden I wanted to put myself in a more sort of a contemporary context, in the sense of really going deeper into my own processes and work and do some research. So I ended up applying for a master's degree.
And you went all the way to Australia for
Yes.
that, didn't you?
Yep, Tasmania.
Yeah. And like, why why there?
Yeah, I know. You think, okay,
Yeah.
well, how did you go from
Or
Jasper and find out this art school in Tasmania? Well, it's a really cool. I think it's one of those past present things that happened. But before the internet, of course, there was catalogs. When you wanted to go to a school, you'd look at the catalog, go to the library, and check out what they have. And it was into my BFA, 1987, I saw this catalog in the University of Tasmania, and I was just thumbing through it and go, wow, if I ever do a master's, I want to go there. And it was this worm in the back of my brain that I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
And now it's 2002, and I'm just having this sort of moment of, I think I need to do more. And I start looking at Canadian universities, and in the early 2000s, landscape was kind of passé, right? It wasn't. It was like painting was dead when I was in university. Like
Okay.
people thought painting was dead. The fine art world was like this, so much more happening in art that painting will probably die, but it never does. I never
Yeah.
don't ever think it will. But at the same time, in the early 2000s, before the big wave of climate crisis, environmentalism, I mean, it was always been there, but I think it wasn't really a big theme in artworks per se at universities. So the
Yeah.
Canadian universities that I was looking at, they didn't really have a link in their department with natural environment or wilderness or landscape painting. So I probably wouldn't have got in, but because I had this type of work.
Yeah.
But then I go, oh yes, the University of Tasmania. So I get on internet. Now it's internet days, 2002.
Yeah.
And we've got a computer. And I look and I'm going, oh my gosh, one of the 4 research strengths at the University of Tasmania is wilderness and natural environment. And there were a number of artists working with this theme at the art school. So it was the only place I applied.
Yeah.
And I got in, which was very fortunate. But had I not remembered that catalog, in my wildest dreams, I would never have pinpointed, I better check out the University of Tasmania.
Yeah, in Tasmania.
Yeah, so that was a big trip. 7,000 miles across the ocean.
And how long were you there for?
Off and on for 3 years.
For 3 years. And like, do you think, like, I've never been to Australia, but I'd assume that the landscapes are very, very different than BC.
Yes.
So did you like have a complete change in what you're painting? Like when you're painting these photos, or pictures, are you out there looking up at it, or is it all from your memory? And
combination.
Combination
there. Yeah. So when I was in Jasper doing the mountain paintings, experiencing what I experienced going into the mountains and maybe either taking a photograph or doing drawings, coming back to the studio and making a painting. Sometimes it was plein air painting, taking my paintbrush and my support material out into nature and painting. So outdoor painting, plein air and on plein air. And a lot of times I needed a reference, but over the years since my life has moved forward, there has been stages of bodies of work that I've done that have just been purely, like I did a series called The Land of Make-Believe.
Okay.
And there are wild, kind of colorful paintings all just generated from my imagination. Yeah. So then, through my own journey as an artist, my art career, I've moved from basically mountains, and then when I did my master's degree, it was on water. Water is metaphor for life.
Yes.
But also it's literally life because we're 70% water, our bodies are, right?
Yeah.
And so we really are a pool of consciousness, as I like to think, being that my project was called Painted Pools.
Yeah.
A lens into subjectivity, and pools was a repository not only for physical water, but for memory, experience, and consciousness.
Okay.
So the pooling of that which exists within, and it kind of was loosely based on Masaru Emoto, who was a Japanese sort of scientist, more on the spiritual end of things, but he did studies with waters and water crystals. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No.
But water actually, it is affected by the energy. So if it's a stagnant pool of dead water, but it's still contained, the crystals look very different from a fresh moving, the molecules in a fresh moving water. Each of the crystals are very different. Anyhow, it's fascinating if you look at his work, but also to music. If the water crystals will change to the type of music. If it's heavy metal and heavy duty music, it has a whole different shape than if it's Beethoven.
Really?
Yeah. So it's fascinating, but his theory was it's because it's sensitive to these vibrations, the vibration of sound, and whatever is in the water that makes it either very fresh or stagnant. Yeah. Anyhow, but that was kind of part of it. It was very layered master's degree, but it was about water, and there were big paintings about water. Anyhow, so it came out of the water.
And you're painting these in the desert.
No, that was in Tasmania. So Tasmania is in Australia, but it's the island. It's one of the states of Australia. It's 7 states in Australia, and Tasmania has the most artists per capita in Australia. But it's an island unto itself off the southern tip of Australia, between it and Antarctica.
Oh,
That's
wow.
yeah.
Okay. So
Really,
you're surrounded by water,
yeah,
the ocean.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a big island.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
And we will circle back to a lot of
Okay.
some of,
Okay. Yeah. So
I
I'll
have a
let you
lot of
lead.
questions on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to break my pen.
Yeah.
Well, now that you're in the Okanagan, have you found any specific places out here that have kind of found themselves into your work, or are you still going back to other places, or are you all in your mind?
No. This coming back to the mountains is fairly recent, I would say. I dabbled in it. So once I kind of have to give you the journey view, but it might be too long because you might have the questions about it. You asked about local. So
Yeah.
I left Tasmania, finished the master's degree, moved to Vernon in 2006. And I still had some completion of the master's degree to do. So I did that. Took me a year to kind of finish things up because my family had moved back here. So that's where I came back to Canada. But then it was like, okay, what do I paint? And I ended up sort of doing some water. Well, that was mountains, so earth, water, dipped into some fire. I did some fire pieces and some local landscapes. Cal Park was a big sort of push appeal to me. I love that park. And then I got a job up at the Pinnacles at Silver Star. So it used to be the old Day Lodge. And where the Pinnacles is situated, you're looking out over the expanse of the Monashee Mountains to the horizon. So the Pinnacles is just up. It's got probably the best ski in, ski out. And I lived there for 9 years. So I was looking out to the horizon. And so my work came about the sky. So then after painting a number of works called Above It All and all these skyscapes, it ended up going into the cosmos.
I'm very excited to get to the cosmos stuff. Yeah.
So it's been this journey through the elements out into outer space.
Do you think that was intentional by you, or did that just kind of happen?
Well, my work leads the way.
Yeah.
So it's always, if I'm listening, which I like that word of listening to what I need to do, then it has its own evolution. And I don't necessarily know where it's taking me, but I have to assume a lot of trust that it's okay to go there, because I have not been an artist that has stayed with one thing their whole art practice. I've allowed my own life experiences and changes to probably be a large part of where I'm getting driven. So, but because I like to, try to tap into sort of a higher voice or something that I can't understand, then sometimes I make work and it's like, oh, well, what does that mean? And then I get the answer later, and it's happened a number of times. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that kind of leads into one question I've asked a couple artists and nobody likes to answer is your process. Is there a time, like, are you somebody who comes in at 8 in the morning and paints till noon and then takes a break, or are you more just whenever you listen?
Yeah, no, I don't have that kind of structure, a 9 to 5 structure, but I definitely have, the sense that I need to be doing this, right? Mm-hmm. It's like I don't feel like it's a job.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's work, because sometimes it isn't easy, and I've destroyed a lot of work, and I've been frustrated, and all the gamuts that anybody does when things don't seem to be going. I'm not in the flow, but sometimes being in the flow, you actually, sometimes not being in the flow is when you make your discoveries, because you're working through things, and then you get the surprises if you keep going.
Yeah.
So I have a process that, and even with my own painting process, I'd say right now I'm kind of honing into a way of making that is probably conducive to what I'm doing with this new series of work. But as far as time frame, because I've got some other, juggling some other elements in my life, I try to just make sure I'm here as much as I can be, and at least 5 times a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I just stepped into painting full time because I have been working in September of last year. So I had been always working as well as painting.
Okay.
But this September of last year, also I turned 65, but that wasn't just the reason. It was like, I need to commit. I need to commit. Time is short. the aging process is definitely picking up. And, I'm hoping for another 30 years, but who knows, right?
Yeah.
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 What were you doing for work through all this?
Well, for the last 2 years, up until last September, I was working for Cardiff Miller Art Warehouse in Enderby. And
Okay.
Janet Cardiff and George Miller are world-renowned artists that they live in Grinrod, and they do multimedia installation and sound sculpture. But they're top-tier artists, and they've shown major museums. They're collected by the MoMA in New York and the Tate Modern. They've got a piece in the National Gallery. It's on permanent display. It's phenomenal. If you haven't been there, you should go. It's
In Enderby.
in Enderby.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah. Look at Cardiff Miller Art Warehouse. So I was their first manager. They opened the museum in end of July 2023, and I started with them the beginning of September, and it was great. They're wonderful artists. Great. It was a really wonderful experience and meeting people who were just so excited to have this caliber of work in Enderby.
Yeah.
And they get people from all over the world. But they were an inspiration for me too, because to see, I mean, they are so dedicated artists. They work very hard, and it's been their life. And I just thought, well, I've got to really allow myself, not that it hasn't been my life, but really to step up my game.
Okay.
I felt I had to step up my game. What is it that I really want to do? What am I not doing? What is left undone? Well, maybe we all feel like that. And the paintings, there's always the next painting. There's always the next painting. It's never complete. I think that's the beauty for me being having a creative life is like there's always what's next.
Yeah, the next painting, right? Yeah. Well, that kind of do you notice, like, obviously we talked about like the subject of what you're painting, but stylistically, because you're just coming back to mountain paintings now, you're saying?
Yeah.
Stylistically, from when you were doing it at the beginning of your career to
Yeah.
now, where do you see the biggest difference?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I was thinking back and looking back to some previous work, because and a lot of it I let go without really good documentation, but I've got a number of slides that I've scanned, because
Yeah.
that's the days before virtual. You
Oh,
took
yeah,
a picture,
yeah.
and then you made it a slide, and then you showed it, But anyhow, so yeah, I look at the work, and it sold, and people love to have it in their home, and I think it had, it was quality work. I got into galleries with it. This work, I feel, is a little deeper. I think I'm connecting with more of a presence in the work, which is a stillness. I feel that I'm coming into a stillness, and maybe a bit more of a focused. I hate to say monumentalism, but there's trying to distill with form and light, deal with the light factor. So I've got the morning wakes, I've got afternoon light, twilight, and just, a sense of kind of the depth of something when you sit with it. Like that,
Yeah.
what I said, to overuse that word, but being present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think, like, I took a peek at even some of the fire paintings.
Right.
Like, those are, I thought those were incredible.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, and the way you did clouds, I saw one where it had the big woofing,
Right.
like almost like clouds look like they're grabbing at the earth. Like that's really well captured, I think. And
Oh.
like even when you're showing us the light here, we'll probably get a shot of that later of the light changing. Like
Yeah, on mountain wakes.
Yeah.
The mountain wakes. That's the last one I've done. And then, as I said, this one is in this process of being done, but it just has one pass of paint, so it's not finished. But this has sort of this light, this warm afternoon light. And this was a photo, because here's the little kiosk. This is Lake Annette here in Jasper, and I'm walking around the lake, because there's a sort of a path around the lake. And of course, I don't really want to spell it out too much, but I'm deciding how to do it, whether it's just big shapes of color. But this is the burn here. You can see, and I
Yeah.
haven't done that, painted this up. I might just do them as warm shapes. And I've got the snow in here. And so there's the things that are working, things that are not. The waters, it does look very watery, but there's a little kiosk there, like a little picnic shelter. People picnic in Lake Annette in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never spent that, like I've only spent time in the town of Jasper,
Okay.
and I would love to get out
Yeah.
on like in these areas because it's
That's, yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are easily accessible.
They are.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but there's lots of hiking in Jasper where you need to get in and just go for some long hikes and backcountry trips. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um. Oh, we could talk about the fires. I know you're mentioning you had this. I'd like to hear the story of this painting. Tell that 'cause
Okay.
this painting is incredible. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. So this paper painting, because it's gessoed paper, and then I went and collected some charcoal from the Jasper fire, and it really was hard, vicariously to be, to feel the grieving of the people in the forest of the fire, right? The Jasper fire. My ex-husband lived there, my son lived there, my sister-in-law with my first marriage, she lost her house, a lot of friends lost property as well as parts of their business, and a small community, very connected, and after living there for 15 years, it's like a second home to me. So with the fire, and then also the loss of my ex-husband. He passed away in October of just this past year, so 2025. I really felt, yeah, charcoal. That's ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I need to do something with the grieving, but more from the perspective of the rebirth after the aftermath, right?
Yeah.
So the life that comes back, but still needed to speak to, yeah, the charred remains, what's left,
Yes.
and the memories of that as well. So the things that the forest remembers, or so I took the charcoal and came back to the studio, and then I actually, with another drawing, I made some paste, some like a little watercolor with the charcoal. I ground the charcoal and added water, and then used that in a painting. And then I did a few more because my idea was like, oh, I really want to do a series, and I still do on the fire, but I think I kind of worked it up to a place where I think I'm going to set this aside because I need to get back to real kind of beauty in life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hard topic. And one of my friends says, Destin, I can't even look at your firework. It's just too hard for me. It brings
Yeah.
up too much. I mean, they lost 25 of their beautiful log cabins
Oh,
for
wow.
their cabin resort, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, not that I was necessarily listening to other people's thoughts about what the work I was going to do, and I'm still wanting to work on that series, but it's more a type of work that I would apply to a public gallery showing for.
Yes.
Versus a commercial gallery, because nobody who's going to want to buy, not very many people are going to buy a piece of artwork that has dead trees in their in their house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might not be, or somebody might. Who knows? I don't know what people want to say, right? There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
But in this one, I've definitely got the green that's coming up. That there's the life coming back.
Yeah, that's what stood out to me when I first saw it. Is it looked like at the top it looks like, it looks dead and barren, but at the bottom we'll see, but like the green is really, like it pops, and it's almost hopeful. Like
hopeful.
Yeah.
That's going off to
London.
To London, yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting. Are you gonna go over?
Well, my stepson lives there, my husband's son, so who knows? We might. It opens June 11th. The show does, so it'd be really fun to go.
Where in London?
In downtown London, Mall Galleries in London. It's called the Mall Galleries. It's down by. Have you been to London?
No.
Okay.
I'm going. I am going this summer.
Okay.
September.
Yeah. Cool.
Will it be there?
No.
Okay.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, for first time.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
I'm very excited. Yeah. Going all around Europe. I'm very, very excited. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. Can we talk a bit about Leah's gift? Leah's gift?
Leah's gift.
Yeah. Can you just start by describing the project?
Okay. Well, it was a project that kind of described itself in a way. So Leah's Gift, a story about reframing loss, the book and the show Leah's Gift are connected. So Leah's Gift, the exhibition, came a year after my youngest daughter passed, and that was through an accidental drowning in 1995. So we were in Jasper at a family picnic, and when it happened. And so, through the process of that first year of grieving, I knew I needed to create a show to commemorate her life and honor her in that way. So there were works that I did at university 10 years previous that related to a child in the water and a nursing mother and even the location. And this was all done before I even had my first child.
Okay.
So she was the third. And so I really as plus as well, there was other things I said and did, which I couldn't include in the exhibition, but I had these pieces that I thought were what I call premonitory, prescient.
Yeah.
I had some kind of a knowing idea without knowing, and even though I couldn't articulate what they were, after the fact, I went, oh yes, just for the circumstances of the work itself, as well as, like I said, the other surrounding things I wrote, said, did.
Mhm.
Then I also made some pieces during that first year and had an exhibition just very close to her passing date, which was June 12th the following year. And that was when I also then after that knew, because I was managing a lodge with my ex-husband, and I knew I wasn't supposed to manage a lodge anymore. I thought, I'm supposed to paint. The universe is telling me, she's leading me. She's saying, Mom, she's talking to me from the other side saying, get going. I'm
Yeah.
behind you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was Leah's gift. And then I turned it into a book 25 years later.
Oh,
So
wow.
she passed in 95, had the show in 96, and then published this book because I always knew I wanted to publish it in 2020.
Okay.
And each of the chapters are one of the pieces in the exhibition, and I wrap the story of that first year of grieving within each of the pieces. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So it was really cathartic for me, but also the hopes was that, or is, because now I'm asked to give a talk to a group of writers in Madison, Wisconsin, came out of the blue, as things do, right?
Yeah.
So it'll probably be in the next couple of weeks to their book club. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just that to honor what we need to do when we lose someone we love. Sometimes we get lost in the way, but there's just no specific way to grieve, but there's lots of maybe things we can do to help ourselves move through it. And it does take time, and you never really get through it, but you live with it, and you live with it in different ways as time moves on in your own life. Yeah. But sharing the story helps give people hope if they're stuck in their own grieving, right? And it doesn't even have to be about a child. It could be loss of any loved one, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody who you really love. Yeah.
Even the painting here, like you were saying earlier, like this painting, people couldn't even look at it, right?
Yeah.
And it's in the same kind of vein.
Yeah.
How did you find writing as opposed to drawing? Or like a painting.
Yeah, painting.
Yeah, the same, like Leah's gift specifically. Yeah.
No, I love to write. I wouldn't call myself a creative writer, but I'm now calling myself an author. Like I can put words together and make sentences and make them interesting sometimes. Yes. I'm sure if I really focused at the craft of writing, I would even be better. But it's like in making a choice, and I would pull excerpts from my journal. So this is also excerpts from my journals of my writing in that first year, and I like writing a little haiku sometimes and a little poetry. But it just feels, if I had 10 of me, I know one would be one would be a dancer, one would be a writer, one would be a visual artist. I've already cloned myself many times. Yeah. All the art forms. Yeah.
So, and you would consider yourself a painter?
Yes, painter and drawer.
Painter and drawer?
Yeah.
And do you like? Because you were showing me, the first pass you do, what do you call that?
Yeah, just the first pass. I call it, when you do your first pass on with paint. So oil paint, because there's an underpainting here, and then the first pass. Sometimes that's direct painting isn't even using an underpainting. That's like alla prima direct. And I've done lots of direct painting where you just one pass. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Actually, I did a series last February. And it was 28 days, and there were self-portraits. I started with the same format. It was 14-inch by 11-inch canvas, and I was going to do a figure in the landscape. And by the third painting, and they were to be made, this is my own little limitations, within 2 to 5 hours, using oil paint, figure in the landscape, same format, and I had to post them. And I couldn't go back into it. So talk about having to be on, and I didn't necessarily have a pre-plan. Some days I just come in the studio, what am I doing today? What am I feeling? So it had all about, it was about responding to the day of how you're feeling, what you're thinking about, what's influenced you maybe from the night before that's on your mind. I say as somebody else, but on my mind. But yeah, it was a great project to do. And I realized by the third day, I was painting myself, although they didn't necessarily look like me. So it became a process of my own identity. Who am I today? What do I
Yeah.
look like? And not necessarily a representation of a female aged woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a good project, but that was very direct, right?
Yeah.
There was no underpainting. There was no waiting
Just
to painting to dry to go back
yeah.
in. It was like I had to be there, and it was so. And I did that for 28 days. So it spoke
Straight.
to 28 days straight. So I had
Wow.
28 paintings, and I just had them in an exhibition at Headbones Gallery. So it was really fun to see all 28 of them
Yeah.
in this exhibition.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a show for women. It was called Ladies Only, Gentlemen Forbidden. So there was 26, I think 27 artists that were chosen by the curator and artist Julie Oakes to be in this show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of artists, like community artists here that you were a part of, or is it like more gallery per gallery?
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
know a lot of artists. I'm like not part of the Federation of Canadian Artists. Not that I just haven't applied and don't probably won't because yeah, it's just something I'm just busy enough on my own. They have lots of shows. Federation of Canadian Artists. There's another artist community called Okanagan Artist Society, and of course there's Community Arts Center. But yeah, no, I just I've got artist friends and connect with people when I go to shows, but I stay kind of, in my own camp
Yeah.
with my artist friends. Yeah,
Hmm. And
and support other artists too.
yeah,
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, yeah,
and their work. Yeah, it's the generosity, right? Of
yeah.
appreciating other people's work.
Yeah. Does writing, now that you have been, or you've always been writing, or is it
Journaling, more journaling.
journaling?
Yeah,
Yeah.
journaling. But writing, like I wrote an exegesis. A big part of my master's degree was a 60,000 word publish a document. So it was hardcover bound and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I've written magazine articles and been published in a few magazines. So it's there in the background. So I
Yeah.
might do another one someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have kind of a question that
Yeah.
I've always wondered.
Yeah.
I've just been, I'm not a painter by any means, but I've just been like learning more about it and that things. But because your degree was research based.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in my like painting and science has
Right.
always come hand in hand. Like you hear, is it Da Vinci who was doing like the crazy
Yes.
and he had like the muscles
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and do you find that at all in your work or is it coming like because it's very natural? Are you considering like science at all or are you just painting exactly like what you're seeing and feeling?
Yeah.
It's a
No, well, even mimesis is a Greek word for imitation.
okay.
And, we like to think representational art maybe is just the thing itself. There's nothing beyond it. But a lot of work that's representational has a deeper meaning.
Mhm.
But people, maybe depending on what civilization you're growing up in, can you read the language
Yeah.
about maybe even that representational thing standing in for something else, either being a metaphor for something or a symbol for something. So that's why the Greeks used the masks as well because they would put on and off. But this mimesis was a way for people to understand at another level besides what they're actually just physically seeing.
Yeah.
So, but in our contemporary world, once the modern art came into play and things were broken down, the visual language was really broken into bits and pieces and different ways of actually representing art is not even something on a two-dimensional surface installation. It just changed because they're always continually trying to push the envelope. They're always trying to make something new. So then it sort of broke apart and then we get abstraction. Then abstraction came where you're just looking sometimes totally at the language of the visual language, like form and shape and color and line. What does that mean just in and of itself?
Yeah.
So why I'm saying this is because people tend to put a deeper meaning on abstraction.
Yeah.
That something deeper is happening there.
Yeah.
Well, they work alongside each other. Just because it's gone abstract doesn't mean it has anything deeper than maybe somebody doing something representational. It's on the perception of the viewer. It's never about the thing itself.
Yeah.
It's what you bring to it. And that's always what art is about. It's
Yeah.
what the viewer's bringing to understand the piece. And they're always, that's why you'll have so many different viewpoints on, you know, maybe one piece of artwork. People might see different things in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying that all art is a relation between the viewer. Like do you think there is, what is it? Where it's like unique, like no matter what planet you are, Beethoven's symphony is always beautiful. Like, do you think it's always the relation between like myself and the painting? It's not just the painting itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, because you're the ones that ultimately will be perceiving that piece of artwork.
Yeah.
And what it means to you might be totally different from somebody else.
Yeah.
Because that's how you can have the ways of seeing, the different ways of seeing. But I do still think there is something that isn't within us and as human beings that we know when we see something that has some kind of quality to it, and or something otherness, and you can't decide you're going to create the otherness in your work. It has to it just comes. So that otherness is that element that makes you want to stop. And I don't think artists can plan for the otherness. It's something that arises within their work, and maybe it comes through them, but it's not because of the intellect that says, I'm going to make this work, that it's going to be really good, and it's going to be, you know, somebody's going to say, yes, this has that element that makes you know that something's going on that's really moving and powerful, that you don't want to forget about it. And I guess that's the thing, eh? If you can make something so powerful that people are thinking about it and they get images of it in their mind, or keep thinking, remembering it and coming back to it as something that's really moved them in any kind of art form, then I think you've been really super successful to that person.
Yeah.
Because somebody else could walk away and say, hey, I don't get anything from that.
Yeah,
how did you get that?
Yeah. What the hell is this? Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to explain that to I went to the Boston, a big museum in Boston, and I was like, huge paintings.
Right.
My brother and my dad are so.
I hear.
What are you talking
and
about?
You loved, yeah, you got really absorbed in them.
I think, like, especially coming from like a filmmaking standpoint, like how much story and truth can be told in just one image, one still image and is it like, it's more than a photo, because it's like it is coming from the painter, and it's like I want to put that into my work. Like that is like, images tell more of a story than I think words could ever tell.
Well,
I think. I love poetry and everything, but
as a filmmaker, for you to kind of look at painting in that way, because that's inspiring for you. So make sure to go to there's a lot of free galleries, like their major galleries in London are free, like the Tate Modern, the Portrait Gallery, the National Gallery. You can go for free, like it's great there.
I'll write some of those down afterwards. We're looking for we're going to do the Louvre.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other in Paris that are good?
Well, I haven't been there since I was 1979. Although we were in Europe for 5 weeks last year, because I had a show in Germany. I was in a show in Germany, and we did get to the opening, but we didn't get to Paris. Yeah.
And how many shows have you done over your
I don't know. I haven't
lot?
counted. Yeah, more group shows than solo shows.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And lots in Europe?
No. Well, now that was the first show with 2 big paintings in Europe, in Czechoslovakia.
Yeah. Okay.
No, sorry, in Germany. It was in Germany, but was curated by a Czech couple. And actually, I've got the 2 pieces that were there for that show. They're in another show right now. So they're hanging in another show, and then this one going to London. It wasn't a show in Germany, but that was a sort of a show of a number of artists that was doing sort of a mail art project through the Penticton Art Gallery, and it was through COVID. Everybody mailed in some artwork, and then it ended up going to a venue in, I think it was Berlin. Yeah. So so I don't really have an international record, and I'm not very known nationally. More, I'd say, Alberta, BC. But
I think that like are these all these mountains here? Are they all Jasper? Like these
Well, the
ones too?
Crowfoot Glacier, that is on the Icefield Parkway. So that's Crowfoot Glacier. It's in Banff National Park. This one
Yes.
is Folding Mountain, and it's just outside the park boundary. But I think where the location for this um, image was taken, the picture that I used as an image, because the picture that I used as a to represent the mountain for the painting was taken about over 20 years ago. So for my files, and I've
Yeah.
got a big files of, because I was going back into something, and then this is the Athabasca, Mount Athabasca. So by the Columbia ice fields, this is like Annette, like I said.
Yeah.
This is a mountain that you can see from downtown Jasper. And I called it the Mountain Still Stand because again, the burn is in those hills.
Yeah.
And then this is Pyramid Mountain that just kind of sits, you can see it right
Yeah.
from town. Like
Yeah.
that's the major mountain. But I'm just kind of going back to the mountains right now that I know and loved. And, you know, I've climbed Pyramid. I've never climbed Athabasca, Folding Mountain, but, you know, done Mount Collin and what else? In lots of different hikes and backcountry trips. But as I'm just stepping back in over the last 5 months, I'm really just going, okay, what do I need to paint first and where my heart is? Because back to the conversation that we were talking about the fire there, and then my kid's father passing away and these losses, it's just like now to kind of really feel my heart back there.
Yeah.
And I wrote my the previous artist owner of Mountain Galleries who took me in when she was first getting her mountain galleries in the Fairmont hotels going in the 90s, mid 90s. So she just bought it, and then I was painting, right? Started painting, got in. So I just wrote her in an email because now I'm applied to get back into mountain galleries. So whether the new owners, she sold it 4 years ago. So whether the new owners will want to represent me, I'm not sure, but that's what I'm working towards. If they don't, I'll know in 4 to 6 weeks, and then I'll just maybe find somebody else that does. So I'm kind of open to, well, that's my first pick. If I'm not their first pick, then I'll go somewhere else. But she knows she's gonna, she just said, okay, I'll do what I can to, she was very supportive. And I actually had a show of the cosmic work there because Jasper is a dark sky festival. So in 2018, when I did this big body of cosmos paintings, they showed at the Vernon Public Art Gallery. In 2017 for a summer show, solo show, and then it went 2018 to Jasper Dark Sky Festival, and I had a show at the museum there. Yeah, of these pieces. Yeah.
Well, that's perfect. I wanted to talk about the cosmos paintings because I was looking through your on your website there, and those ones stood out in the sense of not that they don't belong, but like it's all the mountains and you're painting the cosmos, but from what correct me if I'm wrong, you've always painted them from almost the perspective of looking up at them. Is that correct? Or are you
the mountains?
The cosmos.
Yeah, the cosmos were based on Hubble telescope imagery, which is free of copyright.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was the best thing. I could just go through the internet and go like, oh, that one I really like. And then some of them were from my own imagination.
Yes.
So there was a combination there and the story that was really about the cosmos and the stars is that we are starlight, right? And the fact that we are stardust, and also the fact that when we have starlight shining down upon us or look at it, actually looking at the past in the present. And this whole past, present, future thing that's what really intrigues me, as well as what happens to create a star as the gas and dust collapses with gravity and explodes, creates the star. Did you know the same thing happens when the star dies? So it bursts out into space, it becomes gas and dust again until it swirls around enough, and then gravity pulls it into itself and it creates a star. And so I like to call this, recycling is like our own life, birth, life, death cycle. And that whole idea of, if nature recycles, why don't we? Are we not our spirits reincarnating? That whole idea of our human psychological, physiological journey. So I did each of the paintings that I had made related to a part of that life cycle through the Hubble telescope imagery. So they were described like that with those kind of terms of titles, which titles are always really important to me.
Yes.
So yeah, you can tell. Well, people would look at it; they wouldn't get what I've just told you. But my work is always like too much of a deep dive, right?
Yeah.
I kind of contemplate, but
But I think that's like.
that's maybe what most artists do.
Well,
Right?
but isn't that what makes it art, though?
Yeah.
You contemplate about it to put it in front of someone else for them to contemplate about
Yes.
it.
Exactly. And see what they get from
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Or not.
And
They
sometimes
wanna
they call
walk
you a
away.
genius, and you
Right.
go, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say, crap art, what
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have to kind of get a thick skin, too. You have
Yes,
to say, just because somebody doesn't like it doesn't mean,
Yeah.
it just means you understand that person a bit more. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get more of an insight. And that's okay for people not to be receptive to somebody's work. That's okay,
Yeah.
too, right? We're not
Yeah.
built to make everybody like us.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be trying to be pleasing people with our work in the sense of you want to make this because you want it liked by everybody. That's a poor reason to be making anything.
Yeah, and I think it would. I think you could tell based if someone painted the painting going, I'm going to make everyone love this. Everyone would be like, yeah, it's all right. Yeah. Not everyone's going to love it.
Yeah.
And are you always working in your watercolor?
Oil.
Oil. And that's like you've been doing that.
Yeah, I prefer oil. Yeah.
Yeah?
I've done some acrylic. I did it.
Okay.
Yeah. And went into oil pastels, those wild Land of Make Believe series were oil pastels. So I was dipping into some other mediums, and I do like charcoal and graphite for drawing, but primarily for painting, my preferred is the oil paint.
And why?
Why? Oh, it's just it's the beauty of building up layers and how paintings actually can change with light on it, which I actually showed you with this studio light, how the painting with different light changes the whole look of, I mean, it warms the painting up or cools it down, which light does, but because it's got other layers too. And there's a painting of my my master's work in a home here, and it's a home with big windows. Actually, I've given it to my daughter and son-in-law, and their home with the light through the big windows, because it's really gets affected by it. And sometimes I walk in going, wow, you see beneath those layers of paint, because if there's thin layers and glazed layers of oil paint on your painting, it actually creates this inner depth and this inner light and this sense of illumination from within.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's kind of cool if you do very sensitive glazing. And that's why some of these masters from like Rembrandt and some of the others, Vermeer, they did lots of glazing. There were lots, like 30 times sometimes over these paintings. Yeah.
That brings me to kind of a fun question. What do you think your favorite painting ever is? If you had to pick one, like Mona Lisa, greatest painting ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm one of those that likes all the flavors of ice cream. So it's hard for me to pick a favorite. Although, because I appreciate just so much diversity and difference in what I see. That picking one, I'll have to think about that. See if I come with anything at the end of our talk here.
Is there any paintings you've seen in real life, like not just a picture, that really just took your breath away?
Yeah, let's see. Well, you got me here. I didn't want to say something off the top of my head without really meaning it. I'm going to have to really, I think because, Monet's work. I like Van Gogh. And when we were in Europe, the Rembrandt, self-portraits of Rembrandt, but Van Gogh. Van
like
Gogh
Monet
is,
too.
you like Monet too?
Yeah.
I know, I'm just kind of more of a traditionalist.
And an absolutely ridiculous question.
Yeah.
Do you think the Mona Lisa is overrated?
Oh, well, who knows? That smile and those eyes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I get in arguments about that. I know nothing
dear.
about it, and I'll just pick it. Whatever the person says, I'll pick the opposite
Right,
just to
right.
see.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Good. Have a good debate. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, you've done your homework, haven't you? You've done
I
looked a little
try.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah. We covered a lot of it. There was one really good one. Oh, if you were to line up your your entire life's work
Yeah.
in a line, what story do you think that would tell?
Oh, I think it would tell the story that this of moving through something, of a passage, of a life journey, because it hasn't just yeah, been focused on one way of making and one subject. Um, yeah, I think it would say something that this person is evolving continuously and following maybe her destiny. I know, bad name, Dad. Why did you give me that name? And, you know, for a lot of years, I felt that was the fault in my stars. That I was not the same as everybody else, and why I couldn't, because gallerists, you know, if somebody's going to sell your work and represent you, they want to see a body of work that they know you're going to continue with. Because if they start selling to people, then that's what people expect. It's all about expectation, right? People expect us to be the same thing. That's why you usually find people, when they go away, they can be more of themselves. If they move themselves outside of their familiar community, parts of themselves might come alive that they never would have had they stayed within that safe zone of, this is the way people expect. You know, and it's so subtle, it's subconscious. But if you're just being true to who you are, you do what you need to do. And I just finally had to give up my hand and say, well, that's who I am. So maybe it's not the fault of my stars.
Yeah.
Maybe it is my star.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. Why worry about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I did.
Yeah.
And I sometimes still do. But now I feel, I don't know how long this passion for the mountains is ever going to go now. Now that I feel like I've come back home in a new way. And it's like, sometimes you have to look back to move forward, but it's always in a new way.
Yeah.
Come back to your roots, right? Come back to history. Look at history and see, and that's where I think it's important. We're always knowing where we came from, because that might help point us in the direction of where we're going next. I don't know, but I could be wrong.
Right. I think that's exactly it. I mean, I don't know nothing, but yeah.
That's the best thing. Not knowing anything, being curious. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't have all the answers, so that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Who knows? That was one of my paintings. Who knows? Yeah,
really?
This one up there. All who wander are not lost.
See? Yeah.
That's what's better by 28 days. All who wander are not lost. This one is
that's Tolkien.
all is not as it seems. You know, me upside down. That's actually me. I do headstands, and I did headstand in the snow.
Oh, really?
So that's me. There. This one, what color is your soul? Looking down at the water and all those. This one's free fall. This one's remembrance. Breaking trail. Tread gently. Changing times.
And the name comes to you after the
Yep.
painting?
Yeah. Lots of times it was just like, that's what it needs.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I like the mountains still stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
like
a great. Yeah. I
Still
haven't seen that one. I'm gonna go take a peek at it.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of touched on it, but what's next for you then? Big picture.
Just right now, it's immersing myself back in the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, right from Jasper down to Banff. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I'm doing some backcountry trips this year. So I'm going into Yoho. Got a 3-night backcountry trip planned in August. September, Tonquin Valley. It's in Jasper. Never been there. Even though I lived in Jasper for 15 years, didn't make it into the Tonquin Valley.
Okay.
So yeah, just to steep myself back into that mountain environment and see, keep working from getting more direct experience again and putting that into the work and doing some big paintings. So these are small. Or smaller. Small. Yeah, I've got 2 4-foot by 5-foot canvases waiting for me to paint next week. Because I'll be in Jasper either Saturday or Sunday, starting to paint on Monday. And my biggest paintings have been 6-foot by 6-foot. So I'll probably go that big and bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you prefer bigger paintings then?
Yeah, I do like
landscapes
with
and
that.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
so
what do you hope people feel when they look at your work? I know we kind of touched on that,
Yeah.
but like, what is, like, we touched on what you thought, but you do, because you were saying you do commercial and
Oh, well, I don't have a commercial. I was with Gallery Odin.
Yes,
A
yeah,
lovely
okay.
gallery up at Silver Star for like 20 years because was invited to show with them when I came. They were already in operation when I moved to the Okanagan from Tasmania. And Cal and Maria Molnar, the owners, invited me to be in their stable of artists. So I was with them, and then they closed last summer. They ended up closing their gallery, and so I have been without a gallery now, and hoping, like I said, to reestablish my relationship and representation with mountain galleries, but open if that doesn't happen, there will be something else, or might open another place where I don't know. But you asked, sorry, back to the question. I got off track.
I got off track.
Yeah, see, I talked too much.
Well, I like this one better. Do you, like, I watched the video on your, because you had a documentary too on you, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
By Brian Taylor.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
I didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the whole thing yet. Well, I don't even know where to. I just saw the clip on your.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just the trailer.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Where could we watch that documentary?
Just on YouTube.
Just on YouTube?
Beneath the Painted Surface. Yeah.
Beneath the Painted. Yeah. And how was that experience getting the documentary?
Well, he did it. He actually kind of filmed different parts of my art life over 2-3 year period.
Okay.
So it was quite interesting. He's got interviews with other people and at shows and in Jasper. He came to Jasper, Brian did, and his wife. So did some filming there. And it really does talk about, big portion of it is sort of what's the foundation, or what's my touchstone is Leah's gift. Like, Leah's kind of leading the way. But although my two other alive children are definitely as much present as she is, just in a different way. But I think that that's always the thread that runs through everything. Yeah. And I think, I know what you asked. What do you want people to take away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it would be nice if they were touched in some way, that they felt something.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, at least they feel something. Yeah. If it's neutral, then I really did a terrible job.
Do you feel like painting has changed the way you experience the world? Like, has it opened up something for you? Like,
oh yes, yeah. I think the creative life, if we really allow ourselves to open to it, and in the true sense, and I do struggle with this sometimes, because there can be art camps, people believing in certain things based on what they think art should be. And I'm so curious about that. Like, how can we put our stick in the sand and say this is the way it needs to be? It's like religion, right? Yeah. Who's got the answer? Yeah. Why can't we all exist with each other, alongside each other, and support each of the factions that are out there in the art camps, versus saying this is true art, right?
This is better than
that. Yeah. Abstraction versus representation, classicism versus really modernist contemporary work. Like, why? Yeah. And I don't know, is that human nature, right? That we think we have to have the right answer. Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're all doing the same thing anyway at the end of the day. Like, that's what
it's just paint on canvas.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And we're bringing the meaning to it.
And somebody's looking at it going, yeah. So, no, that's awesome.
That's like the emperor's new clothes, right? Oh my gosh.
Is there anything we haven't touched that you would like to talk about? Or
well, I probably should have shared in the conversation with you, but since you were interviewing me, I would have liked to find out more about your journey in your life. But you came here specifically to have a conversation with me. Yes. So this has been very enjoyable, and I think I've probably overshared, because I tend to carry on.
That's great. that's what we're here to do. Yeah. I hope someone watching this has gotten something out of it.
Yes, I thought it was so.
It changed my perspective on some things, and it's really, really awesome. Yeah. But thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us in your studio. It's awesome in here.
It was nice to have you. Yes.